We're chatting about the Google slap that's coming for email spam. It's their anti-spam campaign for email marketers. Why? Because yes, email marketers are spamming everybody. About the that's me. Hold please.
That's you still talking. Yeah.
Talking over myself and then talking over myself. It is amazing what I can do to myself. Yeah. But it is the Google slapdown for sure. So right now we're talking about the Google anti-spam email that's literally rolling out in like 48 hours. That's how little time you have to get your butt in gear around your email and what is going on. So, hey everyone, my name is Chef Katrina. If we've never met before, welcome to our YouTube channel. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. We love to see you subscribe and follow us on this channel. We are talking female entrepreneurship predominantly because we love working with women, showing them a new paradigm shift and what it means to actually be a female entrepreneur. As I said, my name is Chef Katrina. I've been an online digital marketer for the last 15 years and saw a lot of women burn out in the world of business and entrepreneurship and give it up and head back to the workplace or try to find something else because they thought this wasn't for them. And I am tired of that conversation, to be honest. So I bring a little fun and play for women into the world of system building. Yep, you guessed it. Technology and me were like this. And so I want to bring it back to you. There we go.
Wow, that was great. Hi, my name's Heidi Mumon. I'm one of the co-founders here, and I love to help women actually realize profit in their business because I see too many people, well, also going back to the workforce because they're constantly taking everything that they make in their business, they're pouring back into their business, and that's not creating an income.
No.
And so, and that also makes business a burden. Instead of a blessing, instead of having fun, instead of enjoying yourself, it becomes a burden. So it's time to start realizing that profit and managing your money in an effective way.
I like your thinking.
And I'm Karen. I'm all about the fun. Let's just do that. That's all we need.
That's it. Brings the fun to the party and the mindset to create fun because that's what we're often missing. True story. Yep.
And it's not even just the mindset. I love social media too. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It's
she's a weird one.
I love the technology.
We have friends that are like me too. We were talking about this the other day and we were like, oh my God, it's so fun. Like, it is just fun. I remember having a conversation with my mentor years ago. And she was like, you should just get a group of small people together and start talking about this. And I was like, I want to do this on social media. And she was like, why? And I was like, oh, because it's so fun to me. I just enjoy it so much. And she was like, okay, that's definitely for you and not for me. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I don't even care. Like, for me, it's just enjoyable to have a place to show up in front of people. And it's like, for all intents and purposes, it's free. Like, hello. Like, come on, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah. And I think we've forgotten that around social media, but I also want to talk about the world of email right now, because this is a hot topic and I feel like still people don't know what's about to come down. Like we have now a chance to warn you as a small business owner, what's about to happen on February 1st.
Yeah,
Google,
48
hours. So in 48 hours, Google and Yahoo are putting one of the biggest slapdowns on anti-spam email services ever seen. This has been something that I've been aware of since I think early November of last year, honestly. And this is super important. Like, I know you guys don't want to know this, but hey, as a business owner, ladies, we've got so much on our plate to begin with. How do we stay up with everything? Hello, welcome.
You can't. Yeah, you can't stay up on everything.
Right. So we just want to make sure that you are in the know that on February 1st, Google and Yahoo are pretty much the biggest email providers, right, for any of us. And to deliver emails into our customers' inbox, us as the small business owners have now got to abide by the anti-spam rule. So let's talk spam. It's a can of ham, it's shoulder pork and ham, by the way, if you actually want to know what spam stands for in the world of
shoulder pork and ham.
Shoulder pork. So it's the meat from the shoulder and then ham, which is the other part of the pig, smooshed together, shoved into a can, and then apparently like really popular food in Hawaii.
I thought it just looked like something that you went spam.
Yeah.
Just
no.
smack.
So we have the
Yeah,
food
it's gross
spam.
too.
But like, let's talk about what spam is. Like, there are probably a lot of different perceptions around what spam is. So, Karen and Heidi, what are your definitions of spam? Like, especially pertaining to email. So, if you were to get an email, what do you know, or why do you mark things as spam?
Unsolicited, something I didn't ask for. I have no freaking idea who is sending this or why. And so I automatically mark it as spam because I don't want to open something that's going to put a virus on my computer.
So you don't even open the email?
Most of the time now it goes to trash.
Okay.
And it's like, and my spam and things that do go to my spam folder just get deleted without being looked at. Which I know I probably have deleted legit emails. I'm just like, probably things I was actually asking for. And but I don't, it's like, so much goes to spam, I don't even have time for it. But so it's like, I guess it's most of it's unsolicited. Okay. And or it's like it's I love the ones that say you've just paid such and such bill. And I'm like, and then you quickly go look at your bank accounts, like this is money taken out. And it's just like, and if you click on it, it's not even, they're like spoofing somebody.
Yeah, they're spoofing
websites. A website. Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are my favorite. Yeah.
So those are your favorite. Karen, you got any favorite spams that you get?
I mean, it's not even just in your email box. Like, think about when somebody comes to your door that you're like, I did not ask for this. I don't know what it is about the street that I live on, but we have never had so many unsolicited people come to our house.
Wow, that takes brave. That takes bravery.
Yeah. Anybody from, oh, do you want solar power? Do you want this new pest control service? Or I'm sorry, guys, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, but I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness. Like, I love you. You're a great person. I just I don't want it, and it's okay. Like, that's the thing. Like,
I love the meat sellers, the ones who are selling
the meat sellers too. Yeah. Yeah. Like, really, that is the same concept as what's coming into your email. I didn't ask for this. Right. I didn't sign up for this like product or service that you're trying to put on me. Like, right. I think this is really what Google is trying to get rid of for people, because it realizes that people are starting to get irritated with email, and they realize that Google is a business just like you are as a female entrepreneur, right? Mm-hmm. They want to make sure that people are coming back happy to their service. Yeah. And they're realizing that with all of this stuff you didn't ask for, that people are just not paying attention. Like Heidi said, I don't even pay attention to it anymore. I'm not even looking at it anymore. Yep. They don't want that. They want you to come and actually engage with other people. In a sense, Google is just like social media in that it wants its users to be engaging with other people. And so when you look at email in that way, and if somebody is like, ooh, I'm not even going to open this because I know that I'm not interested in this. I didn't sign up for this. This could be something that creates a virus on my computer. So that's scary. Like, all of those things, Google is like, we don't want people to feel like that anymore. Yeah. And so really, this is actually it might look like a slap, but I would encourage you to change your mindset around this. This is actually Google trying to protect you as the business owner and the people that you're sending emails to. They're trying to protect both of you. This is a beautiful thing if you look at it like that. So I love talking about mindset, and I would definitely urge you, look at your mindset when it comes to this. Are you going, oh crap, this is really going to affect me? Or are you going, this is great. This means that I'm going to have more people that are actually interested in what I have to offer. And so in that case, the potential of what could happen in your business is monumental. So you could look at this as like, oh no, nobody's going to open my emails. And if you have that thought and you're thinking that thought, that might be your reality. Like that's probably going to be your reality. But I definitely urge you to look at that thought and go, is that actually what's happening here? Or is this actually in my best interest if I follow the guidelines and do the things that Google is saying to do for my business? What could this do for me? What's the possibility of how many people on my email list are actually going to be interested in what I have? Because for me, I'm not interested in an email list that does nothing. I'm not interested in that because that means that I'm putting in more work than I need to.
Yeah.
So for me, I would rather build an email list of people that are like, oh, I friggin' love those people. They're cool. I want to connect with them more.
Yeah.
Well, and you also don't want to get in the spam box because, like I
Right.
said, you get like our spam, the spam folder on your email box gets so full, and so much of it is really just terrible
Trash.
stuff. It's
Yeah.
trash. And it's like, so, but then you get good emails, the ones that you actually did request is stuff that get thrown into the spam. And it's like, but I'm hoping that what they're doing with all of the emails, the verifications, all the things, that the stuff that we actually ask for in the legitimate websites will actually show up in your inbox instead of your spam folder. And it's like, so when I just go and delete all my spam, I'm actually deleting spam, not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about like the rules and what the small business owners, what female entrepreneurs can start doing to be proactive around all of this. Like you said, Karen, let's get that proactive mindset. So what I think is really interesting is that what I'm reading and learning about this is that so much, and you mentioned this earlier, Karen, social media has always been a one-way conversation for the most part. Everybody does a live, even here with YouTube and Clapper, it's kind of us talking to you and it's asking for that engagement back. So like say hello, say hi, like you want that engagement back from your audience. The same thing goes for email. They actually want more engagement. It's not just about getting an email to open. It's actually, are you getting them to respond to you? Are you creating email conversations, right? So one of the things to look at moving forward from 2024 and beyond is, are you engaging? Are you asking questions? Are you getting feedback from those that are on your email list? Instead of just teaching it as another marketing tool to get more sales, because that's what everyone focuses on with email marketing, opening and sales, right? What if you focused in on building that relationship through your email? How do you actually request that conversation back? What do you want them to engage with, right? So the big pieces around this is like, it's not just about selling to your market through email. That's the spam thing. So we talked about also those that are like replicating websites and trying to pretend to be other people. This is definitely one of the big things that Google and Yahoo have said, okay, enough of this.
Done. Yeah.
So there's it's a DKIM, and there's also, what's the other one that you're getting also? It's a DKIM is a verification. So honestly, what Google is looking for from businesses is that you now actually have to have a website. Own your freaking domain. All right, peeps. You can't go around using social media as your business name anymore. That's no longer valid, right? You can't just build on social media if you want the validation. If you want to be able to deliver an email into an inbox, you now have to have that domain, that business domain. So the first thing is, if you don't have it, freaking go to Namecheap. Stay away from GoDaddy. I'm not a big fan. Some of you guys
I'm not
might
a
be,
fan.
but I'm not a big fan of GoDaddy. I know they've changed a lot over the years, so if they've improved upon what they've done, but go to anything. I think there's like Namecheap. There's a couple of other
Namecheap's my favorite.
Yeah, it's out there. You know, there's tons. There's hosting domain sites all over the place, right? SiteGround has got domain and hosting. JustHost has got domain and hosting. Bluehost has got domain and hosting. Shopify.
I just had a conversation with somebody that has Bluehost, and she's like, I had SiteGround and I think I just want to go back so bad because their customer service just is not my favorite, but SiteGround is just so good. So that one, that was a really good conversation I had. And that was actually, I can't remember if it was on the podcast that I had or if it was after that we talked about that. But so good stuff there. Definitely check out SiteGround. That's a good one. So
So, and they might be a little more expensive on the front end, but they're worth every single penny you spend with them. But you will need your domain name. Like step one, if you're a small business or your business coaching program, whatever, and you've been just using predominantly social media to build your business and you do not have a domain and you want to continue sending out emails, you have to have a registered domain. Super, super freaking important. Okay. So your domain is going to be important because CRMs, so these are email service providers, and there's tons of them out there. There's MailChimp, there's
Aweber,
there's Aweber,
Drip.
there's Trip, there's Mad Mini, there's, I mean, Get Response, the list goes on and on and on for responders that are out there, email autoresponders that are out there. What they're making you do now is actually making sure that you have the email address that's attached to your domain. Right. So you want to be your name at yourbusiness.com, right? Like that is super, super important moving forward so that you have an email that's verified attached to a verified domain is key in order for your emails to end up in the inbox of your customers, right? So again, we want the permission-based marketing. We've already talked about permission-based email marketing, where this is where people are signing up. They know they sign up. Right. They know that they're going to get information from you and be transparent. Say you're not only going to get this email, but you're going to get other email at any time. Please feel free to unsubscribe. And please, for the love of all that is holy, have a button to unsubscribe.
Yes.
Stop. Reason why most companies get spammed
Yeah.
is because they do not have an unsubscribe on their email. Make it easy for those that are no longer interested in the information. Give them the ability to unsubscribe. It's better for your email metrics to have somebody unsubscribe than somebody to mark you as spam. Like that is two different metrics you want. And if you keep getting marked as spam, your deliverability rate of getting into the inbox for those that actually want your information and burning big time. Okay. So you want to make sure you have your domain. There's tons of tutorials. I promise you, if you go to YouTube right now, there are tons of tutorials that will walk you through step by step. And I'm almost positive your email service provider, whoever you have, if you reach out to customer support, probably has a post somewhere in their content creation telling you how to set up your DKIM and get your website verified, because it is so freaking important. If you want your business to have emails that go into an inbox, get verified. That is absolute step one. And it was interesting because we had been verified before, Karen and Heidi. Like we had gone through the whole process of being verified as a domain, that it was registered to us, registered to our business. Like it is definitely some preset to things to do ahead of time. But that little bit of doing that information is so freaking worth it in the long run. Right. So we had to go back in. I had to go back in at the beginning of this month, end of January, and I had to go back in and just re-verify to make sure I aligned with Yahoo and Google's new anti-spam policy. Right. And really, like you said, Karen, Heidi, it's to protect us. We want emails that we actually are asking for to end up in our inbox. We want the spam to go into the spam folders, but this also requires that as a business owner, we, instead of just sending offers 24/7, look to provide value, right? One of the things I love about what we do in Truth Bomb here is that we have a value email, right? We make sure that we have teaching, we have training, we have an email that tells you, like, we've done our YouTubes, we've done our, our blog posts. So we're always putting out content. We're putting value out first also. And you want that blend in your business, especially when it comes to email. You want to be able to say, hey, here's value, whether it's through your podcast, whether it's through your video, whether through it's a blog post, whatever that is, I have that value, and have it on your domain, right? You want, if you're going to have a registered domain with your email service provider, make sure you're sending them to content on your domain. Like, hi, right? Because you want to continue that trust factor. You want to continue to add that value and lead. So if this is making sense to any one of you, either on our YouTube channel that are watching us live and or our Clapper family, I want you to, like, if this makes sense, like, oh my gosh, like my question is do you have your anti-spam? Do you own your domain? And if the answer is yes, then like, let us know, like, do you have your, heck, drop your web address. Like, I'd be really curious to see what all you guys are doing for your business. So drop your web address, honestly. Let us go check you out. Because that's the piece, right? We want to engage with our audience. We want to know what you ladies are up to in your business because that's super important to us. So making sure that if you're having emails, one, first and foremost, make it a value. Give something of value and making sure that it resonates with why your audience and why your customer signed up with you in the first place, right? Super, super important. The second thing to look at is to make sure you do put out the offer, right? And be straightforward with it. Sometimes I feel like we pussyfoot, sorry, I use that word, around an offer when it could be like a just straight, here's the offer, here's what it is. Because if you do value and you do offer, you don't have to camouflage the offer. You just make the offer, right? This is what's happening. This is what it is. So value is set up through the trust and the ongoing content creation. Things like this YouTube, things like Clapper, things like you're putting out there, right? Choose that modality, women, that you want to do, that's comfortable for you, that lights you up, right? And then have fun with it. For the love of all that's holy, have fun with it, right? So having fun with how you're communicating, how you're connecting to your audience, that's your first step. Getting that email allows for you to be able to deliver the value of your content. So they're not trying to search for it. The hardest thing for your customers is to try to find your value. If they have to go searching for a blog post or whatever, they're not notified, they're not up to date, then, they don't know where to go, honestly. So you want to make sure that you have a value add. You want to make sure that you're putting a straight up offer. I mean, honestly, because I subscribe to a couple of clothing stores. I may not open every freaking email, but I love the fact they're just making me offer. They're telling me what's on sale. They're telling me what's available. They're telling me what styles in season. I'm okay with that. I may not open every email, but that's the emails that I want. And that's what I would expect from them, right? If I'm going in and I'm trying to learn how to do a craft project, or I want to learn about taxes, or I want to learn about female entrepreneurship, I would expect a value add around any one of those and then a direct offer to buy, right? That's part of the thing. And to deliver those types of emails, they have been saying, hey, don't send more. This is actually something from my email provider. Don't send more than 3 emails a week. And I think it's a total of, I think it's 12 emails a month. And that's for cold marketing. So let's talk about the difference between a broadcast and a campaign. I hope you all know the difference between a broadcast and a campaign when it comes to email marketing.
Well, you want to explain it?
Yeah. Yeah. So in the world of email marketing, if you guys have ever been into your back office, there's two types of emails that you can send out. First one is a campaign. And a campaign is usually attached to a product or service that you're delivering. So like the 5-day challenge, right? You would set up an automation campaign. Usually campaigns are automated. They have a welcome email, they have your step-by-step, and it's all automation. Because what happens with women? We love automation, right? One less thing I have to do, set it up and forget it kind of a thing, right? So campaigns are automation. So what's interesting is that when you do an automation campaign, you can actually deliver one every single day over the course of 30 days and never get dinged on that, right? Because honestly, you're delivering content that's being asked for. So over a 5-day challenge, over some masterclass that you're doing. If you have somebody like we do, we have people that come into our community, right, into Truth Mom Academy, and we let our academy members know, our female entrepreneurs know what's taking place throughout the week, just as a reminder sequence, right? That is a campaign, and we don't get dinged on that, but our engagement around those emails is really high, which is actually good for our over email marketing delivery, because we have an audience that's now specifically engaged around a specific piece of content or training that we're delivering.
If you give a freebie out, is that considered a campaign?
A freebie out is considered a campaign as long as you're dripping 2 to 3 emails after that. So like say you give a freebie for a book or something else, you can put them into a campaign that continues to drip on them. We call that the drip campaign, right? So yes, you can absolutely have a drip campaign. That's a powerful, again, it's automation. It's a series of emails that goes out. And at some point there might be an end or saying, hey, it was nice talking to you. It seems like you don't want our information. Actually, with a drip email like that, now that I think about it, one of the things you want to do is like, okay, you're not interested. Like you've taken no action, provided all this training. Like shit or get off the pot kind of a thing. Like, do you
Well-
want this information or do you want to leave? What?
I'm guilty of asking for information and then let it sit there until I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Nothing wrong with that either. I mean, I do that too, but like as I've like really watched some of the different marketing out there, is like that is one method of doing that, because you're getting them to either take an action, they've had a long period of time. So if they're the person that needs more information, did they get it? Right? And is this something they need in their world? Or they may hold on to it because they need it 6 months from now. I'm guilty of that.
I'm guilty of that.
Oh,
I've gotten the
wow.
letter. I guess you're not interested in our information. I'm like, I haven't read any of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I might in a few months though.
Yeah, yeah. And then so that's the campaign. So there's drip campaigns, there's the automation of it all, right? The second part of that is the broadcast. And this is what Google's really looking at, and Yahoo, is what they call cold marketing for this. So this is where somebody's on your list, they're not going through a drip campaign or an auto sequence, and you're just emailing them, like hard emailing them. Those are the ones they're saying 2 to 3 times a week is max for that. So if it's not inside of a drip campaign, the request is then no more than 2 to 3 broadcasts to your list, because that's what they consider cold marketing. And that's where you really want that engagement. You want to be like surveying your audience, asking them questions, getting them to engage, respond back. Like if you can get your audience to respond back to you in an email, gold, right? So the engagement is the click of the link, the respond back to you, hit reply. Those are the types of things that moving into 2024 are a real big piece of what we're doing. So starting February 1st, there is, if you're a business that likes to email, you really have to look at making sure you're verified as a website. Step one. We are now putting regulations around owning websites, making sure it's actually attached to a company. You're going to have an email address that is your name at that website company name, right? And then that is one of the ways to help keep you out of that spam folder. And really, it also protects your brand, because it's going to be harder to duplicate those websites. So like when you see things like, well, you just purchased this new antivirus or something from Best Buy or something here, we just charged your card $1,000. When you see that drop down and you see it's not the verified, URL from that company, that customer support team, automatically it's spam, and those should be the ones that deflect to the spam folder. So, and this also protects a lot of our elderly. I know this is a big concern with a lot of our elderly, is they're getting phished all the time. That's what they actually call it, called phishing. And they're being phished and they're clicking on things because they don't know any better. They're not taught to look for this. So again, it's just a beautiful thing that Google and Yahoo are doing to protect your email as a consumer, and really to make sure that the businesses that are delivering into your inbox are true businesses and that you've requested that information.
Yeah,
So,
which is ultimately what you want as a business owner. You don't just want, it's just like on social media. If you have a crap ton of followers, but nobody engages with you, or people are just watching you and not doing anything, you don't want that. That's silly. What a waste of time. Like, you literally have all these people that are watching you, but nobody's doing anything. That's not helpful. So it's the same thing with your email. You don't want all these people in there and they're not doing anything. You want to actually have them connect back with you, just like they would on social media. You want people that are clicking the links. You want people that are going through your funnels and seeing what you have to offer. And you want to make sure that it's the right people. I know on our email list, we kind of combined our email list whenever we started Truth Bomb. And I still had men on my email list. Yeah, exactly. You did too. But when we transitioned to Truth Bomb, we were like, we really just want to serve the women. And it's okay that the men are on there right now. And my thought is, like, they'll take themselves out as they go, as we continue to talk about women. I actually have gotten responses back from men on these emails every once in a while where they're like, I'm a man, right? And I'm like, hey, that's cool. Like, if you still feel value from what you're reading, that's great. And stay if you want to. But our real focus right now is women. Like, that really is our focus. So if you don't want to be here, there is and I've said this, if you don't want to be here, there is the unsubscribe button. And I'm more than happy to have you stay, though. Like, I'm more than happy to have you, because we do have some men in our Truth Bomb Academy, but we really don't, like, that's really not our focus. And like, that's the thing. Like, our focus is really, we want to see more females actually thriving and creating that $1 million business. And so, like, that's the thing that we've seen with our email list, where it's like, yeah, we still have men on there, and it's okay if you don't want to stay. Like, that's how you should look at email, social media, whatever. If you don't want to be here, if you don't like my content, bye. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not so desperate that I have to have everyone and everyone on my email list or on my social media. Like, that's what makes me laugh about some of the troll comments that I get on YouTube, because sometimes YouTube can be brutal. Let me just be honest. Like, I will get people that are like, I didn't ask for this information. And I'm like, okay, bye. Like, I didn't ask for you to comment on it either. Like, I didn't ask for you to be here. It's okay that you are not enjoying this. Like, I'm not for everybody. Katrina's not for everybody. Heidi's not for everybody. And that's okay. Like, we're not here to be for everybody. And we realize that. And so that's the beautiful thing about the unsubscribe button. If you're like, I'm not getting fed here, I'm not interested, that's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. This isn't about my feelings. This is about you and what you're looking at as a consumer of the information that I'm putting out there. So that's the other mindset piece of this too, as the business owner, realizing that you're not for everybody, and that I used to be like, oh my God, somebody unsubscribed from my email list, or, oh my God, somebody left my social media. Oh my God. And then once I let that go, and it was like, who cares? Bye. Like, I don't need to be for everybody. Like, that thought of, oh my God, somebody left, is like this scarcity mindset. No, it's a beautiful thing when somebody leaves, because it's like they actually admitted to you and themselves that what you're providing isn't what they're actually looking for. And that's okay. And that's actually great, because that helps, especially with email, with what we're talking about, that helps your deliverability. Or on social media, it helps your deliverability there too. If somebody's like, yeah, this isn't for me, and they just unsubscribe, I'm like, woohoo! Like, that's great. Like, it's a totally different way to look at it. Instead of being so consumed with the number that's on there, like, no, I would rather have people that are interested all day, every day. And the beautiful thing about that is that what ends up happening is, even if you have a small audience, even if you have a small email list, the more you get really laser focused on what you're doing, you'll start to just attract more of the people that you actually want. And so it may start small. Like, I see all these like business coaches and gurus out there that are like, have a small audience and make lots of money. And they're right. And the beautiful thing about that is that small audience, eventually, you keep doing what you're doing, turns into a million people audience. It's just like inevitable. The more that you're laser focused on what you're doing, it's inevitable that small audience turns into a big audience. So being okay with either number that shows up. For me, I don't care about the numbers anymore. I care about, am I actually having solid conversations with people? And are they actually like my people? Are these actually people that I'm enjoying? Even if there's like I look at TikTok as a big thing. Like, with TikTok, I really loved, and still do love, TikTok because of the community aspect that's there. I have met some of the coolest people on TikTok and Clapper. But with TikTok, I've just met some really, really cool people that I have stayed in touch with. And like, as a result of me staying in touch with them, they're like, oh yeah, Karen, I want to be on your podcast. Oh yeah, let's do this collaboration together. Like, that's what it's all about. Even if they're not even interested in my product or service, it's all about like finding the people that you resonate with, and whether or not they're a customer or they're just a collaborator, it's all a beautiful web. Like, it's all this beautiful web. So it's the same thing with your email. I'm saying social media, but to me, it's the same thing as email. It's the same concept, creating those relationships with people, regardless of what forum you're using.
Yeah. And it's just using the tool in a way that makes sense for your business, for your audience, right? And I think that's the big piece behind this, is that we want, and Google wants, and Yahoo wants, valid quality email. And here's the other thing too, for those of you that are watching or catching this up, the best thing you can do is, honestly, even if it's unsolicited, if there's an unsubscribe, unless it's blatantly against everything against you, I think sometimes there's been, and I'm hoping this gets cleaned up from February 1st, but there has been, like, you'll be on these social media channels and all of a sudden you'll share something and next thing you know, someone has scraped your email and sent you a whole bunch of information that you didn't want, right? Like, I can see that as the spam piece of there. At the end of the day, is it intentional or unintentional? I don't know, but I would prefer to believe the best in businesses, honestly, and just unsubscribe. The need to just be like vengeful against another business doesn't help the businesses out there. And for me, I can get the spam. Like, I have gotten some stuff, I'm like, this is so inappropriate, or this is not what I want. But I'm of the mindset, like, those I'll mark as spam, and they have to be really just over the top. But for me, most of the times, I like to take the benefit of the doubt with businesses, and I would rather find that unsubscribe button on the email besides just deleting them, and then just unsubscribe. First off, and make sure that I don't ever get anything of theirs ever again, and I've made the unsubscribe. And sometimes if you hit that unsubscribe and you're still getting emails, then the next step is to go to spam, right? But I'll always say that as a user, as a business owner, the first place to go with an email is unsubscribe first. If you can't get off the list because of whatever rules they're implementing, then at that point it becomes a spam. Then remove them from that way, like report them as spam. But the first thing is, and I see this even with social media, right? I typically block somebody first or whatever, but if I get people that are blatantly making accusations or making false promises to a product or service I'm not involved in at all, I will mark those as spam on my social media, because I don't need testimonials going up on our business page that talk about something completely irrelevant to what we do as a business, right? I will mark those as spam, because that to me is a blatant attempt just to put links out there on social media.
Or on your blog, let's be honest. I think I saw one on our blog a couple days ago, and I was like, well, that's spam.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple of them now, which is actually a good thing. So here's what
it's great.
I love about when you start a new blog is, like, it does take time, but it's so fascinating because you know that you're ranking your website correctly when you start getting spam comments.
Yeah, I get excited. I get excited because I'm like, we're getting, in the past for me with like Video Marketing Unicorn, it was like, oh, I'm getting spam. I'm doing something right.
Yeah. And then that's where you go get the plugin at Kismet, and you go and you get there and you click, it blocks all your spam for you. Like, I love that plugin on WordPress web-based sites. So that's really good. But like, the thing is like, if you're starting your business, if you're just getting going, like, if you start getting that kind of spam coming at you, you're like, yeah, right. So there's always like, people have unsubscribed from my list. Great. You don't want them anymore. And it took me a long mental time to get over that crap, by the way. And it's hard. Because I was going through our email list and I was like looking at, so like, people that have been unengaged for the last 365 days, right? You can actually go through and look at that. And I was like, oh my God, they haven't been engaged. But the reality is because we blended emails, because we blended, I have different backgrounds from both of us of what we sold for products. there was definitely a group that unsubscribed or just was disinterested or non-marketable anymore. So if they're non-marketable, you can't even get into their inbox. Why the heck would you keep them on your email server, right?
Yeah.
Why would you put them in your CRM? Because honestly, most CRMs are going to be charging you monthly.
Mhm.
A lot of the times the CRMs are charging you by how many
How
people you
many?
have on your list because
Mhm.
it's all the data they got to hold. So they're data collectors for you, by the way. And then you're emailing it out to that, and they have to push all those technologies into all those email boxes. So there's a lot that goes on with an email service provider. So
Yeah. When I
you're willing to
merged,
pay for good email service, all right? I'm just saying,
yeah.
totally okay.
Yeah, when I merged together with Truth Bomb, I sent out multiple emails. Hey, listen, this is what we're doing. It is for women. And I realized not everybody was going to open that.
Yeah.
And so I also looked at how many people had been opening. I'm pretty sure I did the last 3 months because I was like, I don't want to bring over people that are just not interested in me at all. And so if somebody hadn't opened in the last 3 months, I cleaned them all out. I
Yeah.
sent an email where it was like, hey, I've noticed that you haven't been engaging in a while. If you're interested, great. Open this email and let me know you're still interested. That will keep you on my list. If
Right.
you're not, I cleaned them all up. I just went
Bye-bye.
bye and moved on.
Yeah.
I cleaned them all out and then I merged my email list with Truth Bombs because I was kind of like, I don't want to bring all these people over if they're not interested. That's
Yeah.
okay. I'm not like if I grew it once, here's how I looked at it whenever I first like walked away from my first business, right? My first network marketing business. If I built it once, I can fucking do it again, right? Look at your email the exact same way or social media or anything in your business. The more you look at it like that, if I did it once, I can do it again and I can do it better. And so the more that I just like do that with my brain, I'm like, who cares? Like the number's just a number. Like, why do I look for validation in a number? That's stupid.
It's a vanity. We call it a lot the vanity metrics, right? It feeds our ego. We got a good ego because we can say we have this, this, and this. But
we got a cortisol hit.
Cortisol hit. Yes, dopamine. I did it.
Dopamine, yeah, dopamine hit.
Yeah, dopamine.
But what's really interesting is like I even caught myself, and I just did this recently. I deleted, I think, over 500 people off of our list, and that
I was like, what? When you told me that, I was like, that's awesome. That's going to help.
That's going to help. And it really did. And I knew that, but there's also this sense of like, I still go through it. It's so funny. Like you still kind of go through that emotional swing because you're like, oh, this is 500 people. But then I had to talk to myself about this. I was like, they're unmarketable. I will never be able to drop an email into their inbox ever again. Why do I pay for them to be on my service? That makes no sense. I can take off those 500 plus people and make more room for those women that are ready and willing and wanting to learn how to become a millionaire, right? And I can I create that space for them. So sometimes, like you were talking about, you've got to erase or get rid of, you have to let go of the baggage so that you can make space to let come in what you want come into your life, right?
Yeah.
Maggie's going to bark because there's probably some work getting done on the balcony that's getting repaired, so she might just be woofing in the background. So
she just wants to agree with everything that you're saying.
Everything. So, but this is like that's the mind shift, right? It's hard to let go of the vanity, and it's because we've been taught that for so long around social media too. Look for your numbers, increase your following, increase this. Like we've been taught to so focus in on the number that it became part of like our identity is like, oh my God, I got 1 million followers. I got this. And like, it's like, we're trying to get to that instead of just serving those that need our message or product and service.
Yeah.
And when you can get back into the service of and the joy and the bliss of your business and not doing it because everyone says you need X number or you need to hit this metric or whatever, and business becomes fun again. And I think when we look at all the technology, it's there to help us. And so many times we're being used by it. And I've said this before, stop being used by the tool and start using the tools.
Yeah. So I had this conversation with a friend. It was earlier this week. I was telling her like my video marketing unicorn, for some reason last summer, because I realized I started, whenever we started doing Truth Bomb together, I was still posting over there, right? And I had a hard time letting it go. I was like, oh, I put so much blood, sweat, and tears in it. I finally let it go. I think I was looking at it the other day. I finally let it go in April. Guess what happened in the summer? It friggin' just blew up to a point where I looked at it yesterday. I'm actually nearing 200 subs every single month. No, world is going on. Like, I'm thinking, holy cow. And that was because I let it go. There is literally no other reason. I had amazing content over there before I let it go. So how come it changed? Because I had said, I can let this go. This doesn't serve me right now. I'm not having fun just making sure I have content over there. Like, because that's what it was. I was just making sure I had content over there.
Doing content to do content because everyone tells you have to do content.
Yeah, stop it. So I let it go. I stopped posting over there. 100% just stopped posting and was like, whatever happens. It blew up in the summer. Well, last week I got really curious, and this is the place to be with your social media. I got curious. What would happen if I posted a video over there? It blew up. Oh, wow. Okay. I was like, well, that was fun. Okay. And so how I'm looking at it now, I am not planning on creating any kind of schedule over there. I do not care. If I feel like posting over there, I'm going to post over there. Yeah. If I don't, fuck it. It doesn't matter. And for me, that's way more fun. That, to me, I'm like, I know by stepping into that frequency and that feeling around it, it's just going to keep going bonkers bananas. Like, yeah, like that sounds, I said this to a friend. I was like, it sounds counterintuitive. She's like, no, it's counter logic. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It is counter logic. It's not counterintuitive because my intuition tells me, my intuition is like my feelings around it, right? My intuition tells me, yeah, just let it go and enjoy it. Like, just have fun with it as it goes. My logic says, no, you need to fucking post. You need to get up there. That's so important. So for me, I'm like, nah, I'm going to walk away from the logic and I'm just going to have fun with it. Like,
you know what's interesting though? I think there's a sense too, and I always invite businesses to ponder this. I think there is something about stepping away from that constant getting in front of your audience's face, like letting them breathe, and then coming back into your business and almost like you're refreshed, they're ready to hear again. I think when you're in such a content creation mode, you actually burn out your audience because you're burning out, they're burning out, because it's just this onslaught of information, right? So what does it look like to take breaths between your marketing, right? To actually create those moments of breathing when you're not posting every day, taking that time to refresh and then coming back into it again, because then they're excited, like, oh, she's got something new coming out, right? And that has a different feeling to it because it's like an anticipatory of it, right? Like you're looking forward to the next piece, something new, because it's just not content being thrown out there for the sake of it being content thrown out there because that's what the social media channels are telling you. You're actually in control of your business and you're saying, nope, I'm back. This is what I'm going to share. This is the conversation I'm going to have. And I think that's such a refreshing place to be. And it is counter logical because logic says, do it every day, show up, be consistent. And you're like, no, my intuition says breathe.
Yeah. And that's not an easy place to get into. But when you start to trust yourself, that is when the magic happens. And I feel like for me, 2023 was all about trust. Like, how much more can I trust myself? How much more can I trust the possibility of all the things that I've created and just let go of the how and the when? I had this conversation with a friend this morning where it was like, the how didn't bother me because I was like, whatever, it'll happen when it'll happen how it's supposed to happen. But the when is what always I would try to I'm really like tuning in. Like, I know what it feels like to feel abundant. I know. And so I'd be like looking for it. When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And when I finally just went, it's going to happen how and when it's supposed to, I started having more fun because I stopped being like, it has to be this way. It has to happen how and when I want it to. And I left zero possibility. It was like, I told the universe, this is how it's got to be. And you can't tell the universe anything. Things happen when they're supposed to, according to the lessons that you want to learn. And you choose the lessons you want to learn by how you're thinking and feeling on any given moment. You choose.
Yep.
You choose.
Again. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I love this conversation. All right, we're going to wrap this up because I love you all, but we have some play to get to. And I love, Ianthe, that you jumped on here. So always good to see you here on our Clapper. And for those of you that are watching us on our YouTube channel live, we love your engagement and action with us. Definitely subscribe. For those of you that are looking as female entrepreneurs that are wanting a paradigm shift and how you're approaching your business to avoid that burnout, to really discover what it means to be a female, what it feels like to be a female entrepreneur, right? The feeling is a big thing. I'm at posting. I figured it was either posting or playing or something like that.
I did too.
I was pretty close on my guess. But if you want to know what it feels like to be a female entrepreneur, and that's really what we're standing in, is the feeling. I've actually looked at a lot of my marketing, and I recognize that we're like, what does it look like to be a female entrepreneur? See, female entrepreneurs don't look, we feel. Men look, but women are truly an emotional being. And so for women, if you want to reconnect back to yourself and discover what it means to truly be a female entrepreneur in business, right? Yeah, we're like the entrepreneurial whisperers. We are the emotional connectors. I love it.
I like that.
This is the power and grace. And I don't think we whisper, Ianthe. I think we actually scream and yell very loudly when we want to. And I think we bring a lot of compassion and beauty into the world when we let our goddess out. And that is where I'm really embracing this year for that conversation. So I believe that as female entrepreneurs, we need to get back in touch with who we feel like as women in business and not so much what we look like as women in business. And that shift alone that's taking place inside of Unlocking My Millions is a beautiful thing to see. We are really, truly seeing women unlock in ways. We talk about business, but women become unlocked in so many other different areas, and that's so incredible. But when you can look at how do you blend being female with entrepreneurship and the way that we've presented this, it is one of the most brilliant, beautiful, emotional experiences that I've ever been a part of. And I truly feel aligned for the first time ever in teaching business because it feels so authentic and so beautiful and such a blessing to come from this standpoint as a female entrepreneur and creating that and sharing that beauty with others and having women experience that in a way they never thought was possible to be in business as a female. So if you want to learn more about
just letting go of like what the maybe men or women have to say about how fast it should happen. No, fuck that. It happens how and when it's supposed to, depending on what you choose to learn. So just wanted to throw that in there again.
No, absolutely. and the thing is like when you as a woman feel your way through your life and business, when you feel your way through life and business, things really start to shift for you. So if you want to learn how to unlock your millions, if you're ready for a female perspective on what it means to be a woman in business, not what they've been told, not what they've kind of sugar-coated, but anyways, but really experience for yourself. Head over to truthbombmarketing.com. Join us inside of Unlocking My Millions. This is our premier training for female entrepreneurship, and it is a true paradigm shift. And to this week, I know I'm super excited. We've been covering a lot of different things, but we're really diving into the world of audience. And we've tied into that with email marketing today. It's like, what are you doing with your audience? How are you connecting? What is the relationship you're building? And we're going to really dive into what is the experience you want your audience to have through your business? What is that going to look like? How do you want to show up inside of there and really being your most truly authentic self? So I'm super excited for today's training and this week's training around audience, building your true trust with your audience. Not just the numbers, but actually making those connections, because that's the beautiful thing. That's so amazing. So head over to truthbombmarketing.com forward slash, I don't know why I said forward slash, truthbombmarketing.com, and check out Unlocking My Millions. We'd love to have you in this community because we recognize one key thing. Each woman holds the key to unlocking another female's entrepreneurship journey that gives you a different perspective that we need collectively to be working together to achieve. So with that, thanks for hanging out with us here on our YouTube and our Truth Bomb Live, as we've had a lot of fun with this today. So with that, thanks everybody, and we'll see you over. Give a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. Yeah, thumbs up, subscribe, something.
Subscribe, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're rocking it. We're good. See y'all later. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.